Good morning, everybody. Another tough challenge coming up this week, going on the road again. I got to try to find a way to win a ball game, playing another really good team, a confident team. They're 4-0 and top 10 scoring offense, top 10 scoring defense. So a very confident group, and especially there at home. Another great quarterback. This kid is an exceptional player. Got a lot of respect for him. He's averaging almost 90 yards a game rushing, 7.5 yards a carry. He's got 6 touchdowns. Kind of everything goes through him. But they do a great job, schematically for sure. Big offensive line. Got a couple big receivers, a couple long guys out on the edge. One of them, I think number 5, is about 6'6". 17's a big long kid as well. So 500-something yards a game, bunch of explosives in the run game and the pass game, 2 good running backs. It's a good football team, a true RPO team. So everything comes through the run game, and whether it be the quarterback or the running back, but a huge RPO team and swap boots that come off of that, so that challenge you from a communication and discipline standpoint. A little bit of option built in as well. A lot of shots, a lot of scrambles. If you look at the Purdue game, first 2 touchdowns of the game, 3rd and 10, and he just scrambles around and runs for about 14 yards. And next play, he runs it to the goal line, and then they score. And then the second touchdown, 3rd and 10. He scrambles around, everybody's covering, and he runs for a 35-yard touchdown. So, that's what you're dealing with this guy. And, so he's an explosive player that can do a lot of things. He's a very confident thrower. He will take his shots. I mean, it's just kind of nature of what they do. A lot of complementary plays, a lot of double moves, screen and goes, all those type of things. So they do a nice job. But again, all starts with this quarterback, and then defensively, they're true 3-3-5 defense. And when you're dealing with that, you're going to get, every look known to mankind. So a lot of exotics. Rarely do they ever end up where they line up. It's a twist or a loop. Or some type of stunt every single snap, and so challenges you from a communication standpoint, as far as how you pick that stuff up in the run game, and in the pass game, the protection wise. So post snap discipline is really, really important in a game like this. But they play hard. They play physical. They swarm to the ball. And again, they're the 7th scoring defense in the country right now, and a lot of that is they really understand their scheme. They know how to play their scheme and do a nice job. So again, another big challenge for us. Proud of our team. Disappointed, obviously, with our record, but really proud of our guys and how they've played the game. And we have played our tails off with the things that indicate you should win. And, the toughness, the physicality, the will to win, the belief, discipline. They've done so many good things. And, but for us, it's all about the ball. And unfortunately, we're 2-2 because we've just been horrendous when it comes to not just turnovers, but the type of turnovers. 36 points in 4 games is we're lucky that we're 2-2, honestly. We've only won the margin one time, and that was our best game, against Florida Atlantic there. We lost it against Charleston Southern, but we were just that much better than the opponent. But when you play good people and, you not just turnovers, but where they are, it's critical. And not only where they are, but, scoop scores, pick sixes, things like that. You put yourself in harm's way because, what we're doing offensively and defensively indicates winning. 95% of the time, 96% of the time, 100% of the time, but yet we're 2-2. And that's simply because of the ball. And we got to do a better job of that, and we just got to play through it. And I've been around long enough. I know that if you play the right way, that'll turn for you. And these guys are playing their tails off and are getting better every single week. We're getting better. Really pleased defensively with how we're playing and all the good things we're doing offensively. So hopefully we can, start getting some of the results that we want and get back on track from a win standpoint. Any questions?
Yo, please speak up whenever you ask questions for the benefit of the Clemson Plus audience. We'd greatly appreciate it. Go ahead.
You've said the guys playing their tails off. Did you get that sense from them Monday that they felt like they were right there?
Yeah, I mean, they know. I mean, these guys, that's what we do. We watch tape for hours. They know. I mean, they know exactly where we are. When you outgain somebody 100-something yards, the number 3 team in the country or whatever, and you hold them to 1 yard rushing in the second half, you feel pretty good about what you're doing. And and then same thing offensively. When you outrush the opponent, you're doing good things on third down. We've outgained every opponent we've played, And again, we've been in position to win every game. But they all know we've had some bad breaks, and we're in a little bit of a rough patch there. But we'll get through it. We'll come out better. But they're playing the right way, and not that they're perfect. There's always details and things that you can improve upon, always. But as far as the big things, the attitude, the belief, the physicality, the toughness, the will to win, discipline, penalties, things like that, they're really doing a nice job. And honestly, I mean, I've had a bunch of 4-0 teams around here that haven't played as well as this group.
What's your approach in a situation like this? Just in, coaching them up, bluffing them, when it's something like turnovers and in just the worst possible part of the field. I mean, it's stuff they know. They aren't trying to turn the ball over.
No. I promise you, we don't have a better kid on this team than Phil Maffa. There's not a better guy. The guy just ripped off a 46-yard run, and they just caught it. He just didn't check backside, And we're human. These guys aren't robots, and it was instead of just a sack, which can happen, it was a sack, fumble, 71-yard touchdown. You're getting ready to hopefully go make it a 2-score game, and all the momentum and things like that. So that's football. You do it long enough, you'll have a rough patch or two. But at the end of the day, how do you play? How do you play the game? If you play the game the right way, that stuff will turn. And so you just keep playing. We're this is a team that's close. They're tough. They're physical. And you just tell them the truth. I mean, you always be honest. I mean, there's been a lot of times where we've lost around here, and everybody gets the truth. But this is a situation where we've really played well 4 games in a row. Our record doesn't show it, but we've played well outside of the greatest equalizer in football, and that is the turnovers. And again, we're fortunate that we're 2-2 and not 1-3. Because when you play good people, and Duke's a really good team, Florida State's a really good team, and you statistically dominate the game, you don't take care of the ball, you get beat. And that's ultimately been the difference in our season to this point. So you just got to play through it. It's unfortunate, but we've had a lot of good fortune too. But the main thing is how you play the game. If you're committed to playing the game the right way, preparing the right way, eventually that'll turn for you, and it will. So they're a pissed off team, because this is, you only get 12 opportunities to play, and you work all year for it, and you feel like you've missed out on huge opportunities. So you own it, you look at it, but you press on. That's what football teaches you. You just get up and what are you going to do about it? Well, let's see if we can have a good practice today. Let's see if we can go win this game, and start going from there. That's what you do.
With Shrader and it being a true RPO offense, how much is kind of designed to get him out, and how much is he feels pressure and just takes off?
Well, the two big plays in the Purdue game, he just takes off. He just gets back. They're in man coverage, and they got him. One time they actually have him, but we got plenty of tape where we had him too, and we don't have him. He's a big, strong kid, and he's just got a great feel. He's fast. He's faster than he is quick, but yet he's very elusive. He's just kind of slippery in the pocket, even though he's not a quick twitch guy. But you let him get outside, he's gone. He can really, really run, but he's just got a good feel for stepping up, pushing out one way or another. But you look at those two big plays in the Purdue game that led to the 2 touchdowns. He just scrambled around. And next thing you know, he's outside, and there he goes. And one went for a first down and then a score. The other one was a 35-yard touchdown. But they do a lot of design runs too. He is their leading rusher. So they're going to run a lot of speed option with him. They certainly run some zone read stuff, but they run a lot of midline where they actually, they're reading a D tackle. And they do it different ways. They'll read the D tackle, the true power read where they'll read the D tackle, and if the D tackle's chasing, he'll pull it. And they also will run what we call the reverse power read, if you will, where the back's coming, everybody's blocking that way, and he'll read the D tackle. And if the D tackle kind of goes to the back, then he's running out the backside. He's basically the running back. So they do a lot of different things that challenge you. So you got to be careful. They run a lot of swaps and swap boots, which creates conflict for your linebackers. And so you got to be careful not to over squeeze at defensive end. So it's everything's designed through this quarterback. Ball's in his hands. And he makes them go for sure, because he's making a lot of decisions, whether it be through the RPO game or his run game decisions that he's making, whether he's running it, giving it, and then his creativity scrambling the ball and his ability to break tackles. And then what doesn't get mentioned about him, because you look at all these stats, guys, 90 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, 7.5 yards a carry. What doesn't get mentioned about him is he can throw the football. He is a confident thrower. He will flat out let it rip. And you don't hear as much about that with him, but he's a good thrower and creates a lot of problems. He's made some big throws in scramble situations. I think it was Western Michigan maybe. Same thing, scrambles around, and next thing you know, a DB's eyes go to the backfield. They lose their guy. He throws it, and it's about an 80-something yard touchdown pass. So you have to have great discipline in your scramble coverage. And what I mean by that is you got to stay with your guy. You got to let everybody else do their job. And you rally late if he crosses the line of scrimmage. But as long as he's behind that line of scrimmage, you better cover your guy. And so it takes a lot of discipline, because he can create time. He can most of the time you think of a play 1.8 to about 3.2 seconds. From a pocket standpoint, and he can extend that sucker to days, it seems like, and that's a long time. So you got to really, really be disciplined downfield and not come out of coverage. So he's a really good player. I got a lot of respect for him. He's one of the toughest kids you're going to see, and Dino does an awesome job, schematically and really putting them in a position to win.
How much confidence do you think it gives your defense that y'all were able to contain Travis and pressure him and make him uncomfortable in kind of a similar
Our defense is incredibly confident, not just because of that, just because they put the work in, we're freaking good. It's a good defense. They've been in position, this defense ought to be 4-0. Again, you can nitpick and a play here, a play there. This defense has played their tails off, and it's unfortunate that they're a top 10 defense, but they're not a top 10 scoring defense, because our offense has scored, a bunch of points against them. They're confident because of the work they've put in, the preparation they put in. They're playing tough. I'm really proud of them, and we just got to continue we got to continue to play that way, and if you only, and they've done that for 4 straight games. So, if you only play that way at home, or if your record is this, or if you're playing a team who's good or bad, whatever, then you're never going to be consistent. And I think they've created a lot of consistency in their performance and have gotten better every week. And so that's why they're confident for sure, but certainly playing a great team, and a team that went up and down against the field. LSU went up and down the field, 45 points, and they rushed for 22 yards. Again, you can track that. That won't happen again this year. I'll guarantee that. That's a really good running football team, and quarterback and running back. So, but their confidence comes from their preparation.
How similar or different is Shrader from Leonard, and what does that help?
They're similar. They're very similar. Big, long dudes that can break tackles and can really run when they get out in the field. But Shrader's just more experienced. He's just got a lot. He's got a little more water under the bridge.
Nate Wiggins, I guess, do you anticipate practicing this week?
Day to day. Yeah, he's day to day. Moved around last night, and I think he'll get better each day, and we'll see.
What went into the decision to take the red shirt off of Ronan?
Cole getting hurt, Cole being out for the year, and just kind of looking at the longevity of the season, and we knew that Ronan could help us on special teams right away because we're a little thin right there as far as some of our core guy, and so he did a great job for us last week, and so he's a guy that needs to be a core guy for us moving forward, and he's just going to keep getting better, as a receiver. He's a very, very mature kid, very conscientious kid. He can run. He's tough. He's got ball skills, but the biggest need is we needed another core special teams guy, and just his physicality and his maturity. So had it not been for Cole going down, we would have probably stayed the course with him. But that's the decision there.
Staying with the wide receivers, Troy Stelatto, breakout game Saturday.
Yeah.
You said during the camp, you don't know what to expect, don't really expect anything out of him. How pleased have you been with the way he's progressed?
Yeah, as I said, anything we got from Troy is going to be a bonus, right? Because we weren't going into the season counting on him because we couldn't count on him. Hard to count on a guy that's never available, so our expectation is for him to do exactly what he's doing and being a great player. That's why everybody in the country wanted that kid. He's a very talented kid. He's just for 2 years he's not been available, and he missed all of camp. So, but he's worked his butt off, and he's in a good spot. And now that he's had a little bit of success, I think again, if he stays available, I think you're going to continue to see him soar because he's kid can play, he can run. Now the brace, and I don't know if you've noticed, but now the brace is off. They wouldn't let him play without the brace, but now the brace is off, and so he's incredibly confident. He's got a little swagger to him. He's a tough kid. He's a snatcher. He really doesn't catch the ball. He snatches the ball, and that's he's different that way. He's a guy that has already helped us, and he's got his whole career in front of him. He's still technically got this year and 3 more years since he missed all of last year as well. So he's got a whole future in front of him, and has the ability to be a really, really good player. Hopefully the tough breaks and injury bugs behind him, and if it is, I think you'll continue to see him rise.
What's the latest on Antonio?
Getting better, same thing, day to day, improving every day.
Dabo,
Good.
a couple of your players speaking yesterday, like Rook and Mitchell Mays, talked about how they've been able to dream so big with this program, but because of this 2-2 start, they've kind of had to shrink that dream and be more realistic.
Yep.
How do you lower expectations without lowering the standard?
I don't think we lower expectations. You might have to get a new dream. Sometimes we all have dreams. Sometimes you got to get a new dream, right? As a person of faith, that's what, as we all make our plans in life, but God orders our steps. So, I've had a lot of great plans along the way, but God had a different plan. And that's what my life has taught me. You just walk it out. I don't really always understand why things happen. There's been but my life has taught me that, when I've been incredibly disappointed in my life because something didn't go my way, I didn't get the job I wanted to get, whatever, and it didn't go according to my plan. Well, God had a different plan. But so God orders our steps. You just got to walk it out. And, so sometimes it's, and I think it's important to dream big, man. I think that's like huge, massive dreams. That's awesome. But sometimes you got to tweak your dream a little bit, because of you got to keep moving forward. So God's plan is always bigger than our plan. We don't always understand why things are happening. Again, it's disappointing because this is one of the best teams I've had. And, this team's better than some of the 4-0 teams I've had. And they're playing really, really well. They just haven't been rewarded for it. And, your heart hurts for them. But what a great opportunity we have to respond. What a great opportunity we have to grow. Something good comes from everything. And so you just let's see if we can win a game this week. That's what we need to do. And we can worry about, whatever after that. So let's just dream about beating Syracuse this week. If we can get that done, and we go from there. A lot of great days ahead for all these guys.
As you talk about the good that can come from losses, what is Cade, you think, learning? What are some of the younger guys on offense learning?
Yeah, we only got one senior on offense in Putnam. So I think not just them, but we got a lot of really, really talented guys on this team that, they're learning a lot of lessons. They're learning that, every game is the biggest game of the year at a place like Clemson, right? And they're learning that the difference in game, like championship caliber games, is one play. Literally, one play. These guys, without a doubt, are 3 plays away from being 4-0. That's a fact. And being top 3, 4 in the country, and everybody's telling them how great they are. That's how small the margin for error is when you're in championship level football. So they're learning all that, how critical every play is. So they're also learning some good stuff about, how you're supposed to play the game, and because they're getting a lot of results. Maybe not quite on the scoreboard, but they're getting a lot of results as far as their individual improvement and growth and development offensively, defensively, and some things in special teams as well.
Have you seen Cade grow as a leader over the last 3 weeks?
Oh,
what,
yeah.
what does that look like and sound like?
Just complete ownership, confidence, gristle up a little bit, a little bit of alligator skin, good for you, and that's going to serve him well for the rest of his career. He's been awesome. He's been awesome. Somebody asked me last night about him, and I was saying that, some people like football, some people love football, and that kid loves it. He loves it. He loves it all. He loves every bit of it. Practice, training, planning, film. He loves it. And he's a natural leader, and y'all have all seen it. The kid's gotten better every week. Again, I know he's had some freaky football stuff that has happened to him, but he just keeps getting up. Kid's a winner, and when his career's over here, we'll all look back and be like, wow, we had a special dude right there. He's on his way. He's on his way.
Yeah, but what has Tyler Brown unlocked for this offense? And also, he looked like he was in some pain. I know he's able to come back into the game, but how's he doing shoulder-wise?
Yeah, he's tough, man. That's a tough kid. Tough. There's probably not many guys that would have been back in that game. we talk about the eye of the tiger all the time. That kid's got it. He is the epitome of it. Kid loves Clemson. He can really run. He's very confident. He's a great student of the game, which is one of the reasons he's been able to progress so quick. He really catches on, and he's very mature. So I'm just really proud of him, man. But he's same thing. Another one of those young guys that's got a long future ahead of him.
Not a ton of snaps for Woodaz against FSU. Was that an injury situation or just a personnel situation with what they're
Just the
doing?
way the game went, yeah. I mean, he's just didn't get in there. I think he played 17, 18 snaps and something like that. Played all special teams too, but Garrett and Shrader are the starters, and they got most of the reps in that game. But Woodaz, he'll continue to play more.
Anything different Rocky Long does schematically? I know he does. It's the same 3-3-5, but is there anything?
I just think he's an excellent teacher, and it's easy to see that on tape. I mean, you can tell he's a really good teacher, and you can tell the guys, are fully committed to their scheme. Because schematically, with what they do, they ask them to do some things that aren't real sexy. It's not real sexy to be outside guy and, fly 2 gaps across and hit somebody in an ear hole, it's just so somebody else can create havoc. But these guys buy into it. I mean, they really buy into what they're doing. Technically they're really well taught. The loopers are tight. They don't have a lot of miscues, and it's a lot. It's some train wrecks going on up front. They're not very big, and so that's what they're trying to. They know they're not in a big group, so they're not going to line up and just let you get your hands on them and bully them. They're gonna move everywhere, and so it creates hesitation and makes you have to really be good. We did a pretty good job last year. I think we rushed for about 327 yards, so we caught the moving well. We just couldn't take care of the ball. We had 4 turnovers in this game. I had put this game in a black hole somewhere. I'd actually forgotten all about it until I watched it again, and I was nauseous. It was that was a weird game. Fortunate to win the game last year. We did a lot of good things, but we had some. DJ had a couple of miscues, and Shipley had a turnover, and we had the fumble at the 5 or whatever. DJ dropped the ball and went like 90 yards for a touchdown. It was crazy, but we settled in and found a way to win the game, and I thought we played really well. And the quarterback got some yards on us, but I think we shut them down in the second half, which gave us a chance in that game. And then the difference in the game is they didn't get any points off of the turnovers other than on our defense. The defense held them, but they were kind of normal turnovers. It's not just a turnover. Where is the turnover, right? I mean, we had we had 1 turnover. It was like just past midfield. We stopped them. We had 2 turnovers backed up in our red zone, so they're backed up, and we stopped them. And so that was a huge part that allowed us to win that game last year. But I mean, they're just a well-coached group and believe in what they're doing, and they understand their techniques and positioning on the back end and how they use that rover and how they adjust formationally. To what you're doing. So just a very well coached group that believes, and they swarm, they play hard, they play physical. And I think that's, again, I always talk about how you play gives you a chance to win, and they play the right way. That's a reflection of their coach.
Talking about the challenge of covering them when Shrader's scrambling and extended plays. Ball's going to Gadsden a lot when you prepared for this team last year. Now they're spreading it out more without him. How does that change your strategy in terms of having to defend more of the field in that way?
Yeah, they still do the same thing. I mean, it's just, schematically they're still doing the same things. Not much difference there. Got different guys out there. But they've got a couple, like I said, long kids, 5 and 17, or you got a 6'6" guy that they're going to take their shots when they see man coverage. And when you play man coverage, you got to make sure that you have some rush lane integrity. You can't overrush this guy, and he loves to go forward. He's a guy. He knows how to run the ball like a running back, and if you get any type of rush lane, he's running, and it's a problem. He's going to keep them on schedule, but he'll take the shots as well. So not really any different. Again, different people, but schematically they're the same. Big bodies. I know Gaston not being out, obviously that's a really good player for them, just like we're going to have, some guys out for this game and last game. That's just kind of the way it is for everybody in college football. But they got good players. With
Mitchell Mays, how do you feel about him in pass protection? He's been moving around a little bit. Talk about Syracuse and how much they slanted things like that.
Yeah, I think pass protection is probably what he does best, honestly. He's a smart player. He can play anywhere for us. Mitchell, he of the four, that was probably I would rank fourth of his games, but he still played solid, and but he gets it. He's very smart kid, understands how to use his hands. He recognizes things defensively. He sees tips and tendencies. He's a smart player, which is why he can play left tackle, left guard, right tackle. Very smart player. So I don't worry about him at all when it comes to being able to understand things, pass things off, who's got the penetrator, who's got the looper, all that type of stuff, coming off on the backers, whatever the situation presents, he's capable.
And with Harris Sewell, how much has he come along? Is he someone you want to get into the game?
Oh yeah, we trust him, but he's still a freshman, and there's a lot going on in there for sure. This past week, those were some massive humans over there, and just we did a good job offensively. Gave ourselves a chance to win the game. You can't ask for much more than the one critical mistake there from our guys up front. We gave up no sacks in the offensive line, 0. So I was super proud of those guys. That's a pretty good front to hold up on, and but Harris is a guy will continue to work his way in there. Now that Walker's out for sure, you'll continue to see him in there, and Trent. Trent's another guy that's got length. He understands pass protection. He plays with his length, and he's a smart kid.
You've already played Khalil Barnes and Tyler Brown and some of these other guys. Now with some of these injuries, are there any other, TJ Parker, some other freshmen that we may start to see some more of as we go along?
TJ Parker's playing starter reps. I think he might have even played more than one of our starters. I don't know. We kind of we got 3 guys that we kind of see as starters at DN that are kind of splitting the reps. Maybe somebody gets a hot hand game to game, but and then. So he's already doing that. Other guys in the next game, Ronan is a guy that you're going to see play. We'll see what happens at receiver, but we got to get him on the field as far as the freshman. But that's probably the main ones right now as far as freshmen. Harris is another guy you'll continue to see. Olsen, Pat Henry's a guy that's we've kind of committed to playing, as we go through the season. We'll see how, but, it's hard to get a 4th guy in right now, but as the season's long season. So as we go through the totality of the season, we'd like to get him some experience as well. We think he's going to be a great one.
Can't remember if you've answered this, but Jay Haynes, did he have some sort of foot?
Yeah, he had an ankle sprain. So, hopefully we'll get him back here soon as well.
Yeah, but you've talked a lot about the 3rd and 1 and needing to call that just as a run and not an option, but I'm just curious. I know it's easy to armchair quarterback or second guess any decision in any game, but as you went back and watched the tape, were there things you wished you could have called differently or done differently in that game? Yeah, really, the only thing I wish we'd have done differently was the one series where we missed the field goal. First or second down, I wish we'd have taken a shot right there. That's probably the one call Garrett wishes he'd have had back. And, the first down call was fine. The second down call, we had a call that he really liked.
You know, it was kind of a game plan deal, and it just didn't work out like we thought. And you know, but it's 3rd and 1. In overtime, you know, it's a different situation. That's one you wish from a coaching standpoint. You've got that locked. It's not even, you know, again, yeah, and you want your quarterback to situationally just like be a little more aware right there, but that's on us as coaches, you know, learning situation. And so that's probably about it. Other than that, I mean, you know, again, we had almost 500 yards of offense. We had a couple of negative. We had about 30 yards of negative plays because of we dropped a snap. We had one bad decision. We had the couple sacks that were on our quarterback. We were held the ball. So, I mean, we had a ton of yards. You know, so we did a lot of good. That we were in position to win the game and got a chance to go up. We had a 10-point lead twice and had a chance to maybe go on a 14-point lead, and anything can happen there. So just didn't get the one play that we needed. So, yeah, you look back at a game like that, and even when you win, you look back at games and you go, you maybe you do make a different call here or a different call there. Same thing defensively. You know, we did a couple things there that we got to get better at, playing catch technique on 3rd and 11, and we backpedal, which creates 4th and 1, right? And it should have been an incomplete 4th and 11. They punt the ball, you win the game, right? Because that led to a touchdown. 2nd and 9 on the goal line, playing catch technique, and we backpedal. You know, so there's always little things that, you know, whether it be technique or just a call that you wish you had back. But offensively, defensively, hey, we gave ourselves a chance to win the game. They just made one more play than we did. We never trailed in regulation, and we lost the turnover margin. We lost the game. And if you'd told me coming into the game, if we're even or plus, we win. If we're negative, we're going to get beat. And that's what happened. So that's kind of been the story for us. We've got to do a better job of taking care of the ball, and just got to keep playing. And you know, like I said, it'll turn. But you're not going to beat people. What, we have 3 turnovers in the Duke game? I mean, disaster plays, not just, you know, I mean, crazy. Again, the only reason we beat Charleston Southern is because we were just that much better, you know, to overcome. You don't have that type of margin for error when you're playing really good people.
Any questions for Coach from Zoom? Anybody else in the room?
The left tackle rotation, is that totally new to you? Have you done that before? And how do you feel like that's going through 4 games? Still pretty happy?
Really good. Yeah, I'm really happy with both of those guys. I mean, they're kind of, yeah, we've had rotations before, and guys, you know, it's nice to be able to not have to play a guy 80 snaps. Honestly, it's nice when you got good depth. That's one of the things we knew coming into the season that we felt like we had was really good depth in our offensive line. I just took a shot losing Walker, but you know, we're thankful we got Mitchell and Harris and Trent Howard, and we got Linthicum and guys that can go in there and play for us that we feel good about. So certainly with Sadler and Tristan, those 2 guys are coming, man. Super excited about both of them. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're holding up. They both held their own against pretty good dudes the other day. Not perfect, but I'm really proud of them, and just going to keep getting better. And as far as, you know, who runs out there first, well, that's kind of, you got 2 guys competing their butt off. Kind of, you know, Blake solidified himself. I thought Blake played really well, and he solidified himself. So, you know, we feel really, really good about Marcus Tate. We feel great about Putnam. You know, so Mitchell we feel great about. So you got, you know, we see them as kind of our 6th guy. You know, who's going to run out there in the 5? Well, that depends on week to week. We've had that for years and years and years. And when we've been at our best, we've got, not necessarily at left tackle, but I mean, I was watching DJ Reader play last night. And I mean, we had DJ Reader, Deshaun Williams, Grady Jarrett, Carlos Watkins. You know what? I mean, we just played all those guys. You know, so it's good when you got depth, and that's what you see right now. We play a lot of guys. So I don't. It's a bad thing only when neither player's good. It's the best of the bad, right? But we got 2 good players, 2 really good players, and one is a redshirt freshman and one is a sophomore, redshirt sophomore. Super excited about both those guys. It's going to get better and better. And Blake's a sophomore. Just going to get. I mean, he's playing great football. So we got a good group. Those guys have done their part.
How would you assess Jeadyn in terms of matching up?
Lukus?
Yeah, on Saturday.
Man, super proud of him. I mean, same thing. You know, hey, you hate the one play, but that kid's going to just keep going like that too. He's unique. He's unique. He's big, he's strong, he's long, and he's just learning every day, every rep. His confidence is growing. His technique is improving. He had a couple of technique issues the other day that he's got to get better, you know, and be a little lower at some of the break points and a little better collision balance. I mean, there's some things he's going to get better at as he plays, but he didn't play a whole lot last year, and then obviously came off the shoulder surgery, but I'm really proud of him. I mean, I love our DBs. I love our young DBs. I love our corners. I mean, we've got a good roster. We got a good roster. So we've taken a couple hits right now, but you know, we're going to be around for a while.
You talked after the game about Jonathan Weitz still being the #1 kicker. Is that still the plan that he kicks the shorter ones and Robert guts the longer ones, or have you seen anything?
I would let Weitz kick from probably 50. You know, I feel confident. He made a 51 or so yard of that last week. But, you know, he still gives us our best chance right now from just a confidence standpoint. Check back with me next week.
Is that when he's
I'll be here every week, so check back with me. It could change.
Is that when he's doing New York?
What's that?
When is this job supposed to start, next week? Or?
Yeah, I guess it was supposed to start this week. I think this was like his start day. It was Monday this week, so you know he can moonlight when we go up there to Syracuse, I guess, this week. Thankful we got him, man. You know, and you know, you hate he missed that one. That one play could have won the game, right? I mean, you could say one play all across, but you know what? Going into that game, I was just worried about making extra points. I just need somebody like, let's make an extra point, let's make a layup, and you know, he made the one that gave us a chance to even be in the situation at the end. You know, so of course everybody sees the one, but you know, he's still right now, you know, confidence-wise, kind of where we are, and then we're going to let him keep competing. You know, Robert's been battling a little bit of a sore thigh a little bit, so you know we'll see how they do this week. Just last night, so we got all week to go. So anything could happen.
You've had Will, you've had Drew, now you've got Clay, all back there holding. How much have you used those three, your three sons as kind of like information sources for you on special teams?
Yeah, and it's crazy how that, you know, all started probably 7th grade. Will, you know, they all got really good hands, but Will came home in the 7th grade from football, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to be holding." And I'm like, I remember going, "Y'all kick field goals?" You know, I'm like, "Y'all kick?" And he's like, and I said, "Well, how'd you get?" He said, "They just, I guess they had really good hands." He said, "Hey, you're gonna be the holder," and so that's kind of how it all started. So he held at Edwards in the 7th and 8th grade, and then he gets to Daniel, and they're like, "Hey, you're the holder," and he just became really, really good at it. It's a skill. It's hard. It's not easy to do. And then Drew comes along behind Will, and at Edwards, and they go, "You're the holder," and then 4 years later, Clay gets there, and so they, you know, it's hard to find guys that have that type of experience. I mean, you're talking about 6 years plus of experience of doing a task, and so, you know, and they've done a nice job, you know, and Clay's really done a good job, but they certainly little nuances have passed that on to each other.
For instance, you mentioned the switch snapper. Was Clay the one that put you on to, "Hey, Dad, actually it's Casperson that actually snaps it"?
No. Heck no. We track that stuff. That's a chart. That's something we chart. You know, you chart that, and for whatever reason, Flo just kind of got in he's still in a little funk. Honestly, when it comes to, it's just like a glitch. I don't know how to, but most snappers, it's more rare than norm that you have to turn it. You may be just a nudge, but most of the time it's just catching plays, with good snappers. And Flo just kind of gotten himself where it was like every single snap we're having to spin the whole ball. And it's just something we've always charted. And Casperson's really good. Casperson was trying to win both jobs. And Casperson, he wants to win both jobs. Flo wants to win both jobs. They like each other, but they both want to run out there and be the starter. And so it's just one of those things competitively you track. And then and Casperson, he's just money. I mean, he's like 90-something%, catching plays. And so all through camp, and Casperson was like, 40%. So it was just a drastic. That's why we made the change there. And then they were both about .66 on their snaps and punt team. I mean, it was just, so competitive right there. And so they're right there together. And Flo just brings a little bit more coverage ability. So, you wouldn't sacrifice the snap for coverage ability, but when they're dead even, so it's just kind of weird how that all worked out. But no, that just came about from just what we're seeing in practice every single day.
Has Swanson been maybe about the most overlooked guy so
He
far
has.
to do the job he's doing?
He has. He's been really consistent for us. I'm really proud of him. He's 260 yarders. He's the first guy I've had do that since I've been the head coach in the same game, and I think he was 53 point something average, and he's just been steady. He's been very, and it's amazing because this time last year going in the first game, man, wow, I wasn't, he just confidence-wise wasn't quite where he needed to be, and now he's just very confident, very sure of himself, and has done a nice job. And he can kick. He's a guy had it. He would have started at kicker for us last year if we hadn't had last week if it hadn't been for Weitz. He doesn't really want to kick, but he can kick, and he's pretty solid, and definitely our second kickoff guy. Right now, but he's definitely a guy that's been overlooked in our season right now. He's been very steady for us.